Hello, facilitators. Today, I want to talk about what is professional facilitation and can you have a career as a facilitator? So, let's just first start off by saying, facilitation it's a skill, it's a role that you can have in a position, it's a philosophy. You could even say it's a lifestyle, right? It's a way of being, it's a mindset. So, right now, I'd say as a professional facilitator or as someone who wants a career in facilitation, you're most often gonna find positions where facilitation is a part of the role. You're not going to often find facilitation being the one thing that you do. And it's not usually going to be the one thing that you do anyways, because the thing about facilitation is it's extremely energy consuming. It takes a lot of attention to be in a meeting, in a group, and be facilitating that group. So it's really just like one responsibility, one role that you'll have as a professional facilitator or as in a career where you're doing facilitation. So let's say you're wanting a career, a facilitative career. That's what I call it. A career where facilitation is a primary thing that you do. There are job positions, occupations, where you're going to be doing facilitation some of the time, maybe 50% of the time, maybe 30% of the time, but other times you're going to be doing things like project management, community engagement, community organizing, marketing, just communications. Like there's so many other things that you may be doing within a facilitative career. Now job positions that tend to do more facilitative things are going to be things like a community engagement specialist, are going to be things like, even project management can be done in a really facilitative way, depending on the industry and the context. It's going to be things like community organizing, partnership building. Those types of positions are usually going to involve you facilitating groups. Now, facilitative careers is what I was just saying is one path, but then you can also do a thing where you're like independent professional facilitator as a freelancer, as a consultant, working for a consulting firm. Now, if you're going down that path, it's still going to be similar. Facilitation is going to be the main service that you are selling clients. It's going to be the thing that, you're bringing clients, but that's not the only thing that you're doing. You're still going to have to do marketing. You're still going to have to do admin work, and you're going to be working with the client to understand what type of facilitative service they want, and then designing the facilitator guide, and then actually performing the facilitation service, and then coming up sometimes with meeting documentation or a report that you send the client. And so if you're going down that road where you want to be a freelance facilitator or you want to work for a consulting firm, you have to figure out what type of facilitation, what type of facilitative service you want to offer. For example, strategic plans. You can specialize within offering strategic plans as a facilitator, or design sprints. You can specialize within doing a design sprint. Okay, so those are some options when it comes to how to pursue facilitation in an actual career building way. Now, there's this question around okay, well, what context do you actually do facilitation? And what industries are you doing this work? Now, I'd say for me, being an idealist and a visionary, I really see facilitation being applicable in all contexts and really being able to be used to support groups and team performance in any industry, including the tech industry, the government industry, the public sector, the commercial industry, the industrial industry, the entertainment industry, the health industry. It doesn't matter. Any group that's coming together, a facilitator can be there to support that group with coming up with ideas, coming up with a plan, making decisions together, brainstorming. So that's my idealistic perspective and position when it comes to how I see facilitation being applicable in the market. However, let's ground it down into what the market is actually responding to right now. So in my over a year of interviewing hundreds of facilitators from around the world and doing deep dives into the facilitation world as a business owner who owns a facilitation-based company, what I have seen as there's kind of like three major buckets when it comes to facilitative careers or professional facilitation. So the first bucket is going to be government. It's going to be city government, state government, and public sector at large, including nonprofits, associations. So that kind of bucket of facilitation, you can do that as a facilitative career, working within city governments, doing facilitation-based work, or you can do it as kind of an independent professional facilitator, responding to RFPs, requests for proposals, where governments need facilitators to do strategic plans for them, or you working for a consulting firm that works for city governments. And that type of work is going to be more of like, dialogue, deliberation, policy making, bringing multi-stakeholder groups together to talk about plans and policies and developments, or working within specific departments within city governments or nonprofits, helping them facilitating meetings, strategic or steering committee meetings, those types of things. Okay, so that's really going to be using a lot of this dialogue, deliberation, strategic planning, community engagement, those types of methodologies and models. Now, that's city government, nonprofit. Now you have this other bucket. Now this other bucket, I kind of see at large as being like the organizational development world. So organizational development, OD for short, it's a whole industry. It's a whole discipline. You can get a master's degree in OD. It's called a lot of other things too. Organizational change. You can get industrial psychology majors. A lot of this has to do with leadership development, leadership coaching, really helping upper management. It has to do, these types of consulting firms, you are having a client like a large corporation, even a large nonprofit, large entities that are coming to you, and within the consulting firm, or within whatever organization you're working as a facilitator, you're going into those organizations doing large assessments, facilitating things like interviews, focus groups, meetings, where you're bringing the people together within that organization to assess team performance, what's the culture like, you're trying to shift cultures, systems, processes, and that is, that's that field, right? Like you can specialize within organizational change and development, and really go down that path. Now there's a third bucket, which is the tech field. And the tech field is like this huge, this huge beast that really facilitation is like starting to blossom within. But they use different jargon, different methodologies than the other two buckets that I already shared about. And one thing that is important to mention is that a lot of these methodologies, these facilitation models and facilitation disciplines that you may specialize in, all have very similar core principles, but they're different jargon and different processes based on the industry and the context that you're in. So within the tech field, we have things like agile facilitators, design sprint facilitators, people like scrum masters, Kanban professionals. And these are people who, again, they're not just doing facilitation. They're doing things like project management. They're doing things like coaching. They're doing things like process improvement. But facilitation is a huge part of what they're doing. And you're getting trained within those types of methodologies, those types of facilitative methodologies. And that kind of looks like what you'd be doing in the tech field. And like I said in the very beginning, within all of these kind of buckets of pathways that you can take as a professional facilitator, you can be working for an organization as a W-2 employee and really having a facilitative career as an employee, or you can be working as an independent facilitator, doing freelance work and doing contract work, which has a whole other set of, challenges and opportunities. So I hope that's helpful when it comes to figuring out how to navigate what professional facilitation is and what you do within a career that's facilitation based. If you want to learn more about, if you're kind of at the beginning of your journey, or you're trying to figure out like, where do I get trainings and how do I like upskill within facilitation and how do I know even where to go, I encourage you to go onto my company's website, Facilitation Jobs. We have an ebook. It's called Become a Facilitative Leader. And in that ebook, I share over 30 different facilitation approaches. These are big picture concepts, big picture facilitation modalities that you can see if you feel resonance with. So I share the 6 major types of facilitative leaders, facilitation disciplines, and then I share the approaches, the major approaches that I've seen in those 6 different facilitative types. So that can help you, at least in the beginning, start to see, oh, I'm really drawn to this education type of facilitation or this conflict type of facilitation. And then you can go into the Find a Training calendar that we have on our website, where we link some trainings that can help you start to see what's out there when it comes to actually upskilling within your facilitation skills. All right, have a great day. Thanks.